This is the weekend edition of iFIBER One News, where we present some of the top stories from this week and your weekend weather forecast. I'm Bethany Jenks. Stay tuned for the weekend edition of iFIBER One News.
From the iFIBER One HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER One News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER One News, and it starts now.
One of our top stories this week was about how the Moses Lake Regional Tactical Response Team is using new tools to keep officers safe. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
The Moses Lake Regional Tactical Response Team has new ways to keep its officers safe during searches for suspects. Members of the team showed off some of the new tools at a recent training exercise last week in a complex search scenario in a large office building. One of the newest tools available during searches like that, where it's difficult to get eyes on the barricaded person, is the team's new robot. Officers were able to use the robot for the first time during training to learn the controls and capabilities. Moses Lake Police Captain and TRT Commander Mike Williams said the ultimate goal of having the robot is to keep officers safe and out of harm's way.
This past weekend was the first time we've had it out training and getting everybody spun up on what its capabilities are. The robot in particular, that goes upstairs, that goes into houses. It doesn't have to be tethered, it's all remote control. So we can be clearing an area 100 yards away from the officers without exposing them to any danger.
The team is also allowed to use the Grant County Sheriff's Office new patrol canine. Deputy Rick Char brought his canine partner Chica to training to work on bites and searching for suspects.
And of course the dog, the county's been fortunate enough to get the dog, both Adams County and Grant County, and they've loaned the team the dogs or allowed the dogs to work with the team. Dogs are much faster, they have a much better sense of smell than any of the officers. I'm certainly not a dog expert, but I know that we've used the dog operationally from Adams County on at least one occasion, and it was a great asset to us in taking a potentially armed subject into custody without undue risk to the officers.
Another tool for officers to use to get an eye on a suspect while staying out of harm's way as much as possible is a pole camera, which Williams said can extend to about 10 feet and can be used to look into attics, crawl spaces, or other tight areas. Williams said the common goal of using these tools is to keep officers safe in potentially dangerous situations.
The common denominator between all three of those things is that they allow the officers to be a little bit safer. We can clear unknown areas using tools or using the dog without exposing the officers to danger.
And on Monday, a small group of officers were working on breaching a home by breaking windows and breaking down doors, something they train on a few times a year.
This was a good opportunity because that house came available. It was going to be demolished and we could go in and break things. Sometimes it's hard to find a house that they let us go in and break everything voluntarily. And so about once a year we get a house like that we can just destroy and not worry about it. But we train those techniques the best we can, at least 2 or 3 times a year.
This is Joe Utter for iFIBER One News.
People can still register for the annual Beasley Burn mountain bike race in Ephrata on April 2nd. The race is open for all ages and includes a free kids race. Reporter Joe Utter has the details.
People still have time to register for the annual Beasley Burn mountain bike race. The 10th annual race starts at 10 a.m. on April 2nd at Lions Park in Ephrata along Parkway Boulevard. According to organizers, racers are competing in 3 categories on the 7.3-mile course, featuring rocks, single-track trails, and climbs. Category 3 is for racers completing 1 lap, and they start at 10 a.m. Category 2 is for racers completing 2 laps, and they start at 11 a.m. And Category 1 is for people completing 3 laps, and they start at 12:30 p.m. Also featured during the event is a free race for kids, a prize giveaway, and a barbecue after the race at 3 p.m. People can pre-register for $35 until March 31st. The cost on the day of registration is $45 per person. For more information, people can go online to rideviciouscycle.com. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER One News.
And now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We will be right back after this.
Here comes Obamacare, the biggest change in the tax code in 20 years. I'm ABC's Richard Davies with today's tax tip. This year's tax season marks the first time you'll be asked for information regarding your health insurance. Eric Smith of the IRS says for most people, this will be a non-issue.
For more than 3 out of 4 taxpayers, the change will involve just simply checking a box on your return.
That box indicates that you had health coverage and most likely through your employer. Others who bought government-backed health care and received a tax credit to help them pay for it will have to account for whether they calculated correctly. Kathy Pickering of H&R Block says there'll either be a payment or a refund.
When they come in to file their taxes, now they're reconciling how they estimated their income to what their actual income is.
The IRS says if you're low income and not required to file a tax return, you don't have to buy health coverage. But for those who could afford it and chose not to, they'll get a fine. With today's tax tip, Richard Davies, ABC News.
Now for your iFIBER 1 News Weather Center forecast.
Hi everyone, this weather segment brought to you by Barry Motors. One great place to buy and service a car. I'm meteorologist Mike Sines with a look at our weather headlines. High pressure still remains to dominate the region. Increasing humidity though by the time we hit Saturday and then Sunday. I'm already forecasting rain by the weekend. I'll have the latest details and timing coming up as we take a look at our almanac for us here in Ephrata. This morning we reached a low right around 30 degrees, nothing in the way of precip, and the sun's going to set for us at 7:09 p.m. Taking a look at temperatures right now outside, mostly cloudy skies, the wind's blowing from the east at 11 miles per hour, and 54 degrees right now in the region. Taking a look at our futurecast model, we're seeing clear clouds, clear skies, and that's due to that high pressure remaining in control. Already seeing an increase of moisture as we head into Saturday, band of high clouds and mid-level clouds that are going to continue to move on through the area. And already look out to the west, folks. This is humidity that's continuing to increase. Rain chances already showing up as we continue to make our way into Sunday. Right around the midnight hour, you can already see some spotty showers popping up over the Cascades, and that's going to continue right into Sunday. Taking a look at my forecast for us as we head into tomorrow, Saturday. Clouds with increasing humidity along the coast. Long Beach 54, Port Angeles 53 degrees, Yakima 63, Tri-City 62, mostly sunny. Taking a closer look for our region here in Ephrata, 61, 63 out towards Moses Lake. We're going to see mainly sunny skies, mostly sunny skies that is, and some clouds out towards the west. The general trend for these storms, though, as we make our way into Sunday, is going to be the humidity coming in from the west, and then those will make their way eastward. And we are going to see the increasing humidity by the time we hit Sunday. Here's a look at my extended outlook showing for Sunday. 50% chance to see storms, and that's actually going to be a little bit of a cool front. That's why the temperature is going to dip down to 59 for the high on Sunday. Sunny skies though for Saturday. Really get on out and enjoy your weekend Saturday, and then maybe Sunday call it a movie day and really just enjoy the indoors because it's going to be raining, and then mostly cloudy skies as we head into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's the way my current forecast is looking. Temperatures, though, are looking rather nice, though, generally staying around the average for this time of the year, into the 50s and 60s, lows flirting in the 30s. Also, some spots could see 40s. Just be sure to have your jacket and umbrella ready for this weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone. Sports is coming up next.
Well, one thing I knew from being a patient myself was that a dental office is a scary place to come to. And so we wanted everything possible to make sure that our office is a comfortable place for our patients to visit. The patients that I have, my clients have made me a part of this community, and we want to give back in every way possible.
Whether you're looking for a bigger car to support your growing family, a new truck for your business, or something to pull that toy of yours, we've got you covered at Barry Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Ephrata. Come see us today and learn why your family, friends, and neighbors buy their cars at Barry. On Basin Street for more than 35 years, and with locations in Moses Lake and Wenatchee, we are one great place to buy a car. Call or click 754-2411 or barrysaves.com.
Basin soccer action was hot and heavy this week. On Thursday, it was Quincy hosting Chelan and Warden entertaining Highland.
Quincy and Chelan battled to a 2-2 tie on the Jacks' home turf Thursday. It was a tough physical contest that drew 32 fouls on the evening and had the team scoreless at the break. Senior forward Orlando Sereno got the Jacks on the board 2 minutes into the second half. The Goats leveled it 1-1 off a header at the 58th minute. Jordy Coronel's penalty kick at the 62nd minute put Quincy back up top. Chelan got the equalizer in the 65th minute. The Jacks moved to 1-0-1 on the early season. Quincy is in East Wenatchee Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock for a non-league match with 4A Eastmont.
Warden kept it close in the first half, but it was all Scots in the second.
The Cougars dropped a 6-0 non-league contest to Highland on the pitch in Warden Thursday. The Scots were in control of the match from the opening whistle with an early score. The 1A club from Cowichee then made it 2-0 midway through the period. Warden had a couple of opportunities to get on the board in the first 40 minutes of play, but couldn't convert. Highland blew the fuss wide open with 4 second-half goals. The Cougars are back at it Saturday for a non-league match at home with Cashmere.
4A soccer action was in full swing on a gusty cold spring evening on the Chiefs' home turf on Tuesday.
The Chiefs matched up with GSL powerhouse Lewis and Clark on the pitch at Lions Field last night. This one was dominated by the Tigers, who left town with a 5-0 victory. Lewis and Clark got on the board early off this corner kick and a putback off a rebound from Charles Reiger. Moses Lake had an opportunity to answer, but this shot on frame sailed over the Tiger box. Lewis and Clark made it 2-0 at the 27-12 mark of the first half. The margin could have been wider had it not been for a couple of nice saves by the Chiefs' keeper. The Tigers blew the fuss wide open with 3 second-half goals. Moses Lake falls to 1-2 with the loss. The Chiefs hit the road to Sunnyside Friday to open league play.
The Tigers and Blackhawks went at it on the pitch in Ephrata Tuesday as well, but this one was decided early.
Ephrata dropped a 2-0 non-league match to Cheney at home last night. Camden Verstrade put the Blackhawks up 1-0 on an early first-half goal. The score held up until Noah Prophet got this penalty kick past the Tiger keeper midway through the period. Ephrata had a chance to get on the board before the break. Armando Farias wasn't able to convert on this penalty kick, however, and the Blackhawks took a 2-0 lead into the locker room at the half. It was a battle of possession in the second half of action, but neither team was able to put the ball in the back of the net. The Tigers fall to 1-1 on the early season. Ephrata is back on the pitch Thursday for a non-league fuss at Mapton. The Tigers match up with Prosser at home on Tuesday.
There are plenty of sporting events going on in and around the Basin this weekend, so if the opportunity presents itself, get out and root on your favorite team. Players and coaches will appreciate your support. Have a great weekend. We'll be back after this short break.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
We are real students, and this really is our college.
My dream will change the outcome of my life.
My college is allowing me to achieve my dream.
My dream is to be a pilot.
My dream is to be a nurse.
Only you can determine your dream. Big Bend will help you get there.
What's your dream?
Our next story is about 10 Pin Brewing's new facility in Moses Lake, where the company is set to begin brewing its beer next week. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
In about a week, this will be made here at 10 Pin Brewing Company's new brewery next door to Lake Bowl in Moses Lake.
So right now, we're cleaning our tanks, we're passivating, getting ready to brew. So next week we should have our first batch in our brew house, which we're excited about. And then a few weeks down the road, we should have a finished product for the first time over here, which we're really excited about.
While 10 Pin has only been in business for a few years, BJ Garbe, CEO of Lake Bowl and 10 Pin, said the company has technically been in the beer business for decades.
Our founder, Grandpa George, actually was part of the legislation that got beer into bowling alleys. So you could say we just started in the beer business, but we really didn't. We've been in it a long time. And then this third generation came along, kind of with a passion project to build the brewery and got more involved in craft beer. So we built our small system over at Lake Bowl over there, and the demand for our beer got so great we thought it might be a good opportunity to expand and add on to things that we already have.
In less than 3 years, 10 Pin has grown from a 3-barrel brewing system to a custom-built 30-barrel system in its new facility, with an initial capacity of 7,500 barrels per year, but with room to grow up to 21,000 barrels a year, and plans to possibly add a tasting room and outdoor seating area overlooking the brewery. Garbe said he's not really surprised how fast the brewery has grown in just a short time.
To be honest with you, I've always kind of dreamt of this project prior to building that one over there, so I guess it doesn't surprise me. But it is fun that we're there and we're there that quick, and hopefully we keep expanding as fast as we did with this one.
He added the project has been both fun and stressful.
It's been a lot of both. I told my brewmaster Jim the other day, I said, man, we've been like two kids with a big Lego set lately, and we're just putting the final pieces together and we finally get to play with it. It has been a lot of work, but I've got a lot of help. We've got a lot of help that have relieved a lot of the stress that came along with this project this size.
Head brewmaster Jim Madden is working to clean the system this week before beginning the brewing process.
Well, once you start crushing your grain out there, it'll dump into the grist case. That'll take about an hour. Everything takes about an hour here. It'll spend about 30 minutes getting doughy, getting moist, blending the water and the grain. Then it'll sit in the mash tun for about an hour. Then it'll transfer over to the lauter tun where we'll separate the grain from the wort. That'll take an hour, hour and a half, something along those lines. Then it will transfer it over to the boil kettle, usually 60 or 90 minute boils depending on the style of beer and what other kind of different flavors and things you're trying to put into it. Then over into the whirlpool, which could take as short as 15 minutes, unless I'm going to be adding some late hops, IPAs, those kind of things. Could spend an hour in there. Then it's off to the fermenters, where it'll be for a week or two. Initially, we're going to have our Core 4 out, our Snake Eye Stout, it's an oatmeal cream stout, our Angle Amber, Groove Pineapple Wheat, and the Headpin IPA. We hope to relatively early start releasing some specialties and some seasonals, some one-off type of beers.
Garbe said the company is also in the process of rebranding what everyone knows as Papa's into the 10 Pin Tap House, which includes a new look and feel inside. The current brewery inside Lake Bowl will still be used for specialty and seasonal beers. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
experience speed like never before when you connect to Grant PUD's high-speed network. Visit grantpud.org to learn more.
Welcome back. The next story is about Grant County historian Mick Qualls discussing how World War II brought changes to the Ephrata area. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
Protecting the Grand Coulee Dam after the attack on Pearl Harbor transformed the Ephrata area into a military hub and a training ground for soldiers deployed during World War II. Grant County historian Mick Qualls discussed the changes in Ephrata as the U.S. joined World War II during a presentation on Monday night. Back before the war in the early 1940s, Qualls said the idea was to bring military presence to central Washington to protect both the Grand Coulee and Bonneville dams. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 brought significant changes to Ephrata as the U.S. government began transitioning civilian airports in Washington to military airports, including the Ephrata Airport.
There were 17 civilian airports that they made into military. And if you just go up to Pangborn Field, that's the same thing. Then go over to Ellensburg, go to Yakima, go to Pasco, go to Walla Walla, go to even Lynn out here had a training site. And that's what these were training sites where you could fly airplanes. This is the Ephrata Airport now, and it's after Pearl Harbor. And now this picture, if you were flying this airplane, see that star on that wing, this was such a high security place. If you got caught taking a picture like that, man, they would put you in prison for good. But it was such high security.
In just 4 years, thousands of soldiers were trained to deploy to either the Pacific or Europe.
It's amazing what they did, because the first group of guys that trained here were bomber pilots. Then they changed over to fighter pilots. In 4 years, trained 7,000 pilots coming in on the train, train them, put them up for maybe 4 months, put them back on the train in groups. They didn't go individually. They processed out in bomber groups and either went to the Pacific or went to England, to Germany. And this is where they were. This is what it looked like. And in any of the books about Ephrata, this is in August, by the way. It was hot, dry, dusty, rattlesnakes. And I don't even know what they had to eat up there then, but it was pretty darn crude. Now, you guys are probably, what's amazing to me is the number of men who trained here that died, but you can bet, and they knew what was going on in the Pacific and in Europe, and they knew when they left this town, good chance they weren't coming back to even the United States. The other thing about these 7,000 men, you guys, probably 5,000 of them got killed. And it was a dangerous, dangerous job flying.
This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
Rounding out this week's news coverage is a story about the Quincy City Council hiring an engineering firm to study adding a traffic light or roundabout in an intersection on State Route 28. Reporter Cameron Probert has the details.
Quincy is hiring an Omaha, Nebraska-based engineering firm to examine an intersection at the edge of the city. City Council approved negotiating a contract with HDR Incorporated during its Tuesday meeting. The firm is examining the intersection of 13th Avenue and State Route 28 to design a traffic mitigation system. The firm is determining whether a traffic light or a roundabout is better for the intersection. The city engineer Ariel Bellino said a price for the company's service has not been determined. The city plans to use the firm's study to seek state funding for the intersection, which serves Shopko, a shopping center, and Ace Hardware on one side, and several industries on the other. Council members did not discuss the proposal. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Cameron Probert reporting.
And that wraps up our weekend edition. iFIBER 1 News will be back on Monday at 5 p.m. with the latest news from around the Columbia Basin. Thank you for watching.